clear expectations, you can't expect clear results. Okay, I just have to say, this is the funniest setup. So we have Maximizer number 1 over here. I don't know where you're even at on the list, but we have her phone on some platform. We have TikTok there. We have my form or my there, and then we have this here.
I'll show them.
Kind of messy setup, but hey.
We're not professional.
We're not professional. Okay, so we were talking about the importance of setting expectations, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what did you conclude?
Many things. Let me reflect. I think it's the key to good leadership, because when I'm not there, I think 1, you lean on company values, and then 2, everyone needs to know clear expectations or nothing gets done. Correct.
And what happens with your team if you don't set clear expectations?
They're lost, de-energized.
And get frustrated, right?
Frustration.
And then the frustration bleeds out to who?
The clients.
Yeah. So it's such a simple thing to do if you think it is, but I think we had a lot of discussions as well as to why you're not setting expectation.
Why I'm not setting expectations.
And it's the same problem I see with leaders all over the place, all the time.
Does it relate to the control thing? No.
It is partly the control thing.
I think it's partially that.
But it's also, there are a couple of things. So first of all, many leaders always, when they start their own company, they know they are better at doing, they can do most of the things in the company.
Yep.
So then for them, they know what to do, but they're not able to articulate teach others how to do it. So it's 2 different styles, learning a trade versus teaching someone else a trade.
Yeah. I think my problem was dedicating the time to teaching too, because I was pouring more time into sales and marketing, and then I didn't have as much time for workshops.
True.
Or connections.
True. But also, it's also that you're conflict averse.
Yeah, that's a big one.
And it's the same with
for now.
Mm-hmm.
Or yesterday.
But it's the same for almost every single leader I talk to. When they are part of it, they want control, they know how to do it themselves, but they don't know how to teach others to do it. Mm-hmm. But then it's also, they feel so humble, like they are taking shit from the customer, but then they feel bad about that. And then they think, I don't want to push this onto my team. So what they do is they shield the team from what is actually going on. And because they don't want their team, you're being a good friend and a good parent, but what you're not doing is actually, you can still proxy information, but you can detox it. So if you get something toxic, you detox it, and then you tell the team. And that's about removing emotional expressiveness in that. So you remove the emotion from the customer, and then what you do is you make it just very direct, non-emotional expressive, and then you communicate that into the team, so the team actually knows what to do, but without the pain of what you felt. But what you tend to do is to shield them all together from that.
I'll give some context. So there are some teammates I have, or people on my team that 1, are family, and then 2, started as like, you befriend them like family, because I'm Filipino, so it's very like family oriented. And so I took on more of like an ate role, is what you call it, like an older sister, like older cousin. And it was harder for me to navigate being a leader and a boss, and then also caring for them as like wanting to shield them from the pain of growth, I guess, entrepreneurship, business.
You're protecting them, but by protecting them too much, you're also doing them a disservice. Because now if you combine the teach others to do at something you're really good at, combined with you have a situation with one customer that was a little bit frustrated, and then you're shielding the team too much from the emotional aspect of it.
Yeah.
What you should say instead is that you should let them know what is going on a high level. You should emphasize the importance to do an amazing job. And this was not a big slip up. It's a smaller item. It's a one-time occurrence. But it's a smaller item. But what you should then do is emphasize why it's so important, that why we need to nail this and how much it matters to you. So you're not using the word of the customer and downplaying them. I would rather say you need to upplay the emotion or upplay the severity, but downplay the emotion.
This is under the assumption that every person on my team, though, cares about my, I guess, well-being.
They do.
Yeah.
I know them.
I understand, but I've never led with that because I think I just want to emphasize how it affects them, maybe.
If the leader is not feeling good and the team senses that, they will not feel good. Mm-hmm. It's like, how do you feel when your parents are arguing?
Oh, well, that's a sweet thing, but yeah.
It's the same emotion. How do you feel when
a friend?
Yeah. No, but actually, parents. It's not a friend. You're not peers with the people in your team.
Right.
You are the leader. You are the parent. But that means that if they see that you're arguing with someone else or you're not in a good emotional state, they will naturally feel bad. So that's the good part with shielding them. But if you're not letting them know at all what's going on, then that's a problem.
Yeah.
By the way, we saw a bunch of people join. Christy, we had Carolyn.
Oh, thank you, McKenna.
And you have...
Or she's telling you you're beautiful. McKenna says you're beautiful in both cameras. I think
1, 2, 3, 4 cameras, depending on platform.
I think I have to take a picture of it before we end.
This actually looks so weird. I've never done it this way. I get schizophrenic where I'm looking.
It's just funny because I know one day in the future when you have media teams, or both of us have media teams.
You need to tell why I high-fived you there.
Okay. It's not going to be this setup. And I started my journey. My cousin and I, when we started our business, I didn't even have a phone stand or a ring light. So I would have to hook up random lights to a cardboard box and then put my phone on the cardboard box with a paper towel stand. Yeah.
And we still have like a $50 setup here.
Yeah.
Super scrappy.
Something else I learned is the word authority or no?
It depends on context.
Okay.
We talked a lot about authority and how you see authority as a militant thing, while it's actually direct communication.
I'll go into the I think thing. So I want to give people the authority or autonomy.
Empowerment.
Yeah, I want to give them the empowerment to come to a decision themselves. I don't like being told what to do without reasoning, I guess. And so I tend to lead conversations with, I think you should do this. Or like, I never say you should, but like, I think this. Versus when I talk to customers, I realize that I'm doing them a disservice by not showing up with more confidence about my expertise. And also just giving them clearer direction about what they need to do. Because they hired me because they just want to be told what to do. What are your thoughts?
You're blending empowerment with authority and thought leadership and expertise.
In the statement right now or in
general?
Action? Okay.
So you need to separate them. You need to set clear expectations with your team in direct, non-emotional communication. By doing so, you are a lead. So words that are synonymous, but people tend to, for making them feel better, split them up. Boss, leader, manager, authority, they're all the same thing.
Okay.
Now you can have different leadership styles where you lean more heavily on different types. Like you can be adaptive, you can be a servant leader, you can be like a lot of different types of leadership styles. But don't use the words like boss, leader, manager as a way to get out, like categorize, because what's a boss for you is not a boss for someone else. So it's subjective. But then you are an authority. If you set clear expectations, you're directing your communication, you are an authority. Being an authority means being a leader.
Okay.
And then you have a thought leader, which is like what you do on social media. You talk about social media.
Okay.
Like you are outbound communicating, I'm an expert.
I'm mixing my habits from marketing and leadership.
Yes.
Heard, yes.
And then they come to you. What you're actually providing is partly a coaching, mentoring service,
yes,
but it's also a consultancy service.
Yes.
And then you label that as social media. like you offer a social media service, but what you're actually doing is you're both coaching them of how to think differently, how to show up in front of a camera, what to do, what not to do. And then the second thing, that's your coaching side, and you're asking them a lot of questions, like how do you feel about this? Why do you do this? Or like you ask them the question to make them think, but then you're also mentoring by telling them how to think based on your experience. And then the consulting side, that's actually you doing it for them sometimes as well. Like you give them the script of here's the hook, here is fill in the middle, and here is your out, or here is your call to action, or whatever you call it. Mm-hmm. But that's providing the consultancy service. But don't blend those with your leadership skills. Does that make sense?
Those my leadership skills, yes, makes sense.
So there's a clear wall with an outside-in perspective versus inside and into the team.
Yes.
Now, would I want you to show up more authoritative
in general?
In general?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
What are some of the things we talked about? How you can show up more authoritative? And the reason is people listen to you more. If it's too many words and you are soft and indirect, people will stop listening. Mm-hmm. If you can deliver situation is, complication is,
here's what I need to do. I actually don't practice that enough.
No.
At all, actually. I would say 0.
Yeah.
Situation, complication, what?
Question, answer.
That's how I structure the way I talk.
If you do that, the situation is we have a client that was not happy due to one single event. The complication is that we need to now have a new onboarding call to make sure that we set expectations correctly. The question is who attends that meeting and what is a good expected outcome? The answer is I need person A, B, and C. You need to set up the meeting and you need to deliver the following things. So now you have basically within 4 sentences delivered exactly what is needed. And if you relate it to your situation and how you talked about this, that was probably 30 minutes meeting.
Versus like a 2-minute statement.
Or 40 seconds.
Yeah.
So you start the meeting by saying the highest level abstraction. Then you explain what the different components are. We need to do digital marketing. We need to tell them how to film. We need to, like, you understand? Like, and then you double click on those, and then you go one layer down and you say, person A, do you know what you need to do on the onboarding call related to digital marketing? Yes or no? And you validate. And if they say yes, tell me what you're going to do. You trust, but you verify it until you absolutely know that the last 3 times you ask the same question, you get the same response that you were looking for. But if you're not validating their understanding of you, there's another model. I think we talked about it in the past. Said, heard, understood, accepted or rejected. What's the last piece? But always committed. It doesn't matter if a person accept or reject what you have said. If you need them to do something, you have to be authoritative and tell them that you're going to do this.
Okay.
Does it make sense?
Makes sense.
So what are you going to do different? I would just want to see if there are any comments. Situation, complication, question. Christy, I'll add answer as well. Depending on if you're giving an order or you are actually asking the question. But I think structuring it in situation, complication. And then she says, validate with them, asking them if they know what to do. Then have them tell you it to validate. I love that.
Who said that?
Christy.
Hi, Christy.
Christy is a really good manager as well.
Mm-hmm.
A leader.
Communicator.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. To the point.
You asked me what I'm going to do different. I had a question. Do you blend this with L10 meetings, this structure?
So in L10 meeting, which are EOS, you have a very clear structure. Mm-hmm. It's a different thing. That's more the structure, the process of the meeting. Now, can people become more effective in their communication during those meetings? Absolutely.
And this is a method of it?
This is one method. Or another way, so a big portion of a level 10 meeting is IDS. Mm-hmm. So where you ideate, you discuss a problem, you solve a problem. And you have to start the sentence, because what many people tend to do is tell the backstory. And I think I told you the example before about the movie Titanic. Haven't I? Okay, so most people, when they're going to tell you a problem, they want to tell you how they learned something. So if you watch the movie Titanic, they'll go, it's this harbor, it's the maiden voyage, and there is this poker card game, and there are two people who really want to make it on the boat, and then they talk about it for 20 minutes, and then they hit an iceberg, right? But if you want to say the same thing in a more effective way, you just say that two people fell in love on this maiden voyage of this massive new ship sailing across the Atlantic. But they hit an iceberg, they fell in the water, and one of them have to sacrifice their life to make the other one live. And I forgot his name, Leonardo DiCaprio is playing. But now, I told you the entire movie super fast, but most people will want to tell the story how we got there. So back to level 10, when people talk about problems, they tend to give you the entire story of how they got there. So what the US teaches you is to start the sentence with, the problem is, so if you take Titanic, the problem is a ship hit an iceberg, two people are in the water, one have to sacrifice their life for the other one to live. And now it's super effective. Okay, what do we do in this situation? And now you can start debating if they really have to do that. Of course they have to. Jack, I think. Of course he had to. But you get my point. That's debated so much online. But anyway.
No, I'm laughing because I've never watched it.
No, I spoiled it for you.
Well,
you won't watch it anyway.
It's Titanic. Of course I'm going to know what it is.
Yeah. But the point, spoiler alert, I should have started by saying that.
What? Yeah.
People are laughing about that. Wait, let's see what they said. Jack, yeah, exactly. They both fit on the door. Exactly, Liz. That was my argument as well in the beginning. But it's not. You're discrediting the coldness of the water and the potential ice that will be forming, and as a result, it gets heavier. No, I'm kidding. But the point is, I think if you learn to deliver messages, I am going a lot of words now, but I'm trying to tell the story of how you should think. Learn to deliver it. First, give the summary, then explain which components are in it. And once you have done then you break down every single piece of the problem and make sure one person is connected to every single piece.
And I'm doing that method, not start, stop, continue.
No, you should just write on a post-it note, situation, complication, question, answer. There is a book written about this, but it's the most boring book you'll read in your entire life.
Pyramid?
Yeah, pyramid principle. You will fall asleep, but that is really, if you master that book, 80% of all the problems you have would go away.
I have it on my desk.
I know. It's a good paperweight.
Okay. Your original question minutes ago was, what am I going to do differently? It's say less words. That is probably the biggest
Not in this
one.
live, because then you're making me talk all the time.
Do methods like situation, complication.
Question, answer. Or starting a sentence with, the problem is.
Okay. The problem is. And setting expectations for like processes and their roles.
Yes. You started this company. You are a creative person. You're not in love with process. I know that. So as a result, you assume, because the reason why you're not in love with process as a visionary, because you don't need it. You know how to get things done anyway. But it's a very selfish act. And if you want to scale a company, you need other people. Other people are dependent on processes. Other people want to do a good job. They want to understand, how might I contribute the most to this company? Mm-hmm. So if you don't prioritize, I'm not saying process always, I'm not saying process never.
Yeah, I would say I prioritize creating them. The communication and clarification of them is where I fell short.
Yeah.
But I set that priority from the start.
So I think by doing so, and that's where a visionary always partner with an integrator, because the integrator they love process. Like my wife, like she even has a process for when the milk is out. I need you to tell me so I can put it on the list for the Costco order and blah blah blah. It's like there's a process for everything in this house. She's soon gonna come out yelling at me. But the point is that that's what integrator love. That's what purple people love, or purple from Clifton Strengths. And you need to find the balance. Over time, as you scale your business, you will have to step back and be less influential of what's actually going on and what you need to do as a team. And the integrator that you will have that day, they will have to run the daily operation, the repeating of the process. Because as a visionary, even if you build a successful company, you constantly want to change it. Most people don't like change. You do, because you're learning. You see something new all the time. I noticed that. Like, of course you want to change and learn more. Forever learner, right?
Mm-hmm.
But most people are not like that. They want to show up. They want to do a good job. They want to make sure that they contribute value. They feel fulfilled. And if you give them free range and not communicate as a clear expectations, they will start panicking. So the smaller boxes, I'm not saying box people in, and they should be able to think creatively and expand. But I heard your team yesterday. They want to do more. They come with suggestions. They're actually creative. So
Yeah,
I think
creative.
that's really good. You have a good team.
I love my team.
But on the flip side, it's like on the higher level picture, you need to communicate that.
Yes.
Because in what context are they optimizing?
Mm-hmm.
And they all, or the people I heard you talk about yesterday or talk to, they all want to do a good job.
Yeah, another learning thing I learned yesterday was I thought the best way to support my team and help them grow as individuals was to help them more in learning their role, or like doing the job for them, basically. When in reality, what all of them communicated they needed was just me as a leader and like my energy.
Yeah.
They just wanted my energy around to feel more energized, and they could do it for them.
You're not in the business enough. That's what they're saying. Now, people will always try to do that to you. So there's a balance. Now, I believe they're right at this moment. You need to be a little bit more into operations. A little bit.
Yes.
But
yes,
your team will always try to put you in 100%. But the trick is to teach them to feel confident enough to do it without you. And that takes time.
Yeah.
But they will, if they could choose, they would say, Ice, I need you to sit next to me all the time. I love talking to you. Let's go have fun together.
Well, that's just clear expectations too, and like understanding company values.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of people dropping in and out. I can tell we're in the middle of the day for some people, or early. It makes it really painful to work for you if you don't care about the process. Yeah, it makes it painful for other people.
Mm-hmm.
Cecilia is here as well. Oh, I see a bunch of people. I can't read all the names.
Tommy says, good morning. Good morning, Tommy.
People go in and out of the live. You have to scroll down, Ice.
Yeah, I know.
So, drop a 1. Is this conversation helping you guys? Or I would love to get some feedback on this. Drop a 1 if it's helping you or it's making you think of a situation where you could have done something differently. Or, yeah, we have a few more minutes. Liz says 1. Jason says 1. Christy 1. Do you have any questions for us? And now I start eating. It's okay. Have you even tasted it?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Is it cold now?
Mm-hmm.
Cold scrambled eggs. You. Any questions for us? Because I know I have a meeting in 10 minutes. We can talk about anything. I can give 10 other things we talked about.
Yeah, you can talk about. I guess you say what comes top of mind, and then I can comment on where I want to go with it.
Can I go really deep quick?
Depends.
Elephant story?
Oh, yeah, if you could do that. I think that's really valuable.
Okay. So one of the things I talked to Ice about, I asked, she was talking about something about being an authority and why she chose not to step into that role sometimes. And then I said to her, do you know how you train elephants at a circus? And she said, what do you mean? I was like, why do you think the elephants are not running away? And then the story is the following. I told her yesterday, so I'll tell you here. But basically, when elephants are very young, they put a big chain around the neck and they drive a pole into the ground. And the elephant, even when they try to stand up and run away, they try it for 4 or 5 days in straight. And they freak out, they stand up and they jank the chain around their neck, they panic, and they go back down. So every time they get a reinforcement that if you try to run away, you are going to be in pain. That's why adult elephants stay at the circus and they don't run away. They could, as adults, snap that chain anytime. So the reason why I told Ice this story is that when she grew up in her household, her parents and her friends, her surroundings, they all, Ice had to develop, yeah, because I'm waiting for her to come out. Ice had to develop coping mechanisms in that environment that were the absolute right coping mechanisms in that environment to thrive, to grow, to be the strong, powerful woman you are today. But what also happens is you have that chain around your neck and you feel that chain and you feel you're now in a situation where you need to break the chain. And it's really hard for you because what has worked for you in the past is now a taught behavior. It's part of your identity. And you have to give up part of how you view authority in order to break the chain, in order to be a successful leader. And that's a really hard process. Most elephants never run away from the circus. They don't even try because they're so afraid of the pain that comes with it and giving up a piece of what they have learned their entire life. For you to become an exceptional leader, you have to run away from the circus and break the chain when it comes to your view on authority. Doing that at your age, that would be remarkable. I didn't figure this out until my early 30s.
Most people in their 20s don't do this?
No.
Oh.
I
think I'm not most people.
Yeah. Challenge accepted.
Challenge accepted. Yeah, I'm not competitive. I'm just someone who likes to
But
challenge.
it is your view on what an authority is,
Yeah.
Yet your team is screaming for you to be one.
That's really interesting. So but then that's a good thing, right? Because that means my team has been surrounded and exposed to positive authority.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Authority is not a negative thing.
Yeah.
You have different type of authority.
Mm-hmm.
You can still care. You can still be vulnerable as an authority, but you're still an authority, meaning a person that makes decisions. It's not a physical thing. It's not a visual thing. In my world, it's not a man-woman thing. It's just a person who makes the decision and everyone else understands that this is the person who makes the decision. And when the person makes the decision, I better listen up.
Mm.
It's not a militant thing. You can still be an authority and be a servant leader. It's not a dominance thing. It's an authority. Someone in a leadership position. And most people did actually get that wrong. But here's the other thing I told you. You can always go back and recreate a happy childhood. It's never too late to recreate a happy childhood. Yeah. I'm not saying you didn't have a happy one.
I don't think that's my problem.
No, you didn't have you had a happy one.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm saying is it's never too late to go back and change your values that were ingrained in you of how you look at leadership and authority by people in your surroundings growing up.
Yes.
Pretty meta. This was a 2-hour conversation at midnight yesterday. Mm-hmm. Any other comments? Step into the power and take space.
What are effective ways for you to unlock that for yourself, the chain? Besides surrounding yourself with more people who exemplify better authority or positive authority, strong.
You have to really want it, and often that's when you're surrounding, when you have to give up something or lose something if you don't step in.
Where do people find that balance of like you are the product of like the 5 people around you, right? Or like of your environment. It's like there's content that talks on your environment doesn't really matter. It's really mental. It's like just have the self-resilience and strength within. And then I also see like your environment does really impact your energy, and
that's resilience. You can choose to let it impact you. Like happiness is a choice. Your mental state is a choice for most people. Not for everyone. For some people, chemically, what's going on in their body, or they have trauma, they can still, like, there is a thing, such a clinical depression. You can still slip into depression. You can still have that where you cannot think your way out of it. For many people, I would argue for most people, you can train yourself to be less emotionally impacted in most situations. Some of it comes with life, and some of it comes with just setting your mind to doing it. But that's more resilience, what you're talking about there. I have seen people make big changes when they are about to either lose their company or they're about to get into a really bad situations where they have to look at themselves to understand that they're the problem for growth. They're the problem for failure. And sometimes it needs to happen 1, 2, 3 times before they get to that point. Only the bravest souls out there do it the first time.
Do what the first time?
Make the change required to step into a role that they have built this thing about in their head that they can't become, or that they don't want to become, or something, elephant chain, something there.
Yeah.
Can you do it? Yeah. Can you have these conversations? Yeah, most people will struggle. So if you're listening to this and you feel I can have the conversation, that means you're not most people. But we actually need to wrap it up because I got a meeting in 3 minutes. And yeah, comment afterwards. Always ask us what me and I should be talking about as well. We have so many topics, but we want to make it relevant for other people as well, right?